I was generally more stable, you know, in myself, to know that I'm a boy inside, but everybody else knows me as a girl, so they're just going to treat me as a girl either way. Because my mum, you know, struggled to accept it. You know, she couldn't accept the fact that I wanted to be male, so she continued to treat me like a girl, but I kind of had to accept that. So I just, you know, plodded on, and I didn't get as offended as I would have done years before. So anyway, but I decided that, you know, it wasn't working. My boobs were still big. I'd been at it for probably a year, or maybe half a year. So I decided that I was going to lose more weight. Now at this stage, I was probably 8 stone, and I'd grown into myself, so I wasn't as chubby, but I was sort of, you know, normal sized. Probably, like I say, the size I am about now, maybe a little bit smaller than I am now back then. But I did look good, and I knew I looked good. I thought I do look really good, but I'm not happy with the boobs. They're still too big. In reality, they probably looked okay, but to me, they still looked too big. They were probably, I think they were about C cup size. So I wanted to go down to an A or a B, so I decided to lose weight. So I decided to start using my mum's weight loss shakes called Herbalife Formula 1 milkshake powder. So my mum let me have that, and I just had it for breakfast as a meal replacement. So instead of food breakfast, I, you know, had the shake instead. I can't remember what flavour it was, but that doesn't really matter at the moment. I know that recently my mum prefers to have the cafe latte one, or the cappuccino one, which is the one I ended up having like last year when I decided to lose weight more seriously again. So anyway, so I had that. It's probably vanilla flavour, or it might have been strawberry flavour. I really can't remember what we had back then. But it really worked for my mum. It did make her lose weight, and so I decided to try it. It made me lose weight, but I went too far. I didn't realise I was losing weight, so I continued with the shake, and I actually got to a point where I was too skinny. But my boobs, to me, I thought my boobs don't look much different. They're still too big for me. But I realised, oh shit, I've gone too far now. I'm too skinny. So I didn't like that, and I thought once again, I'm thinking, I hate the way my body looked. Because I had this really tiny waist, barely any bum, but I still had a big chest, in my opinion. So I just looked like a stick figure with a big chest. But in reality, it probably just looked bigger in a bra. So, but out of a bra, I knew they were quite small, but in a bra. But I didn't know about... It's funny because I did know, because I did have sports bras at one point when I was about 14 or 15. But for some reason I never sort of thought to use sports bras to make them look smaller instead of using the usual padded cup bras. So I used the normal thin padded cups, and I suppose that made them look a bit bigger. So it never occurred to me to just switch up those kind of bras for thin bras, because I never found them as supportive, I suppose. I'd never found the sports bras very supportive. But when I was about 24, before my 25th birthday, I discovered high impact sports bras, and I thought, if only I knew about those when I was that age, you know. Well, anyway, I've discovered them now, so I'm getting them from now on. They're my staple bra. Anyway, so after I discovered I'd gone way too far with the weight loss, I decided to start gaining weight again. So I obsessively ate and tried to eat as much as I could and be more sedentary so I could gain more weight again. I just wanted to gain the weight that I'd lost back. But when it took me years, but I eventually gained the weight back when I was about 24. Yeah, I was 24 because that's when my mum had the heart attack, and I was still skinny then, so I gained it probably 24 and a half. So I was only fat for half a year when I decided I wanted to lose weight, because I got to about 10 stone. I decided I didn't really like the way I looked anymore after I saw myself in videos that I made at the time. So I decided about 25.5 probably, roughly, to lose weight, but it's taken me all this time, and I've only just lost the weight last year, about September, October. So that's the time when everyone was in lockdown and everyone was going on about how they've gained weight in lockdown, but for me I lost weight because I decided to really commit. The reason why I struggled to lose weight before that was because I insisted on eating at night, because I loved my suppers. I couldn't live without my suppers. So I had suppers every night about 10ish. Or so, most of the time it was later than that, because, you know, I would get distracted and end up, you know, not getting off my ass to make food until about 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock at night. So, sorry, losing balance there. So, yeah, so I decided, after I started creeping a bit over 10 stone, so I was 10 stone and a few pounds, I ended up, you know, thinking, right, I've got to lose weight now because I'm creeping over 10 stone. I didn't want to get any bigger than that, so I thought I'm going to stop having supper at least for like a weekend. And it worked. After the weekend of not having supper, I ended up being 10 stone again. So I thought, oh, I'll a bit more, so I continued to not have supper, and I ended up losing more weight. So eventually I was just below 10 stone, and then eventually I was 9.5 stone. But then I relapsed and I started having suppers again every night again, and I sort of crept up to 10 stone again. So I had to force myself to not eat at night, or just eat really small things, or just soup at night. And then again, so I've done the whole thing of not eating again at supper just recently, and I'm now 9 stone and a quarter, 9.25 stone now. So that's pretty much my journey. I've got to go now because I've got to take the dog out, but I will elaborate probably more on this later. So my goal weight ultimately is to get back to 8 stone again, because that's when my boobs were the smallest and perkiest and nicest, and I just look nice overall anyway. And hopefully I'll be able to have suppers again when I finally get to my goal weight. Wish me luck, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. See you in the next one.